Welcome to the Barbell Strikes Back. I'm James McDermott. I'm joined yet again by Miguel Porter, co-host extraordinaire. And today we are going to be talking all about the ADK Series I weightlifting meet that went down today, Sunday, July 21st, 2024. Depends on when you're listening to this. Miguel, how are you doing after a day of competition? We've never been able to recap an event the day of the event before. This is a groundbreaking moment.
Right, yeah. This is something. A little banged up. The adrenaline is gone, so I'm starting to feel all the little aches and pains. But yeah, feeling good. Got to cook dinner, stuff like that. So yeah, we're in a good spot.
Yeah, it's almost like it didn't even happen. It's like when you only have two sessions in the morning / early afternoon, and then you're back. You're like, wow, I still have a day left.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that. Really quick, I don't know if it's true now, but so the internet's working right now, and I've discovered that when you play back the episodes on YouTube, they're not all choppy all the way, and sometimes it's just me. So I think it's definitely a me internet issue when we're recording and it's like in slow mo. So that's at least good to know.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping if I get an Ethernet cord for my modem here and plug it into the computer, that will possibly help. We'll see. I'm working on
that, or we just go full on podcast studio.
Yeah. Yep. I'll gotta get the sound panels all over the place. We'll see how that goes. And also, since we talked about it on the last episode, I saw Long Legs. It was okay. We could leave it at that. It was okay. I'm happy I went to go see it. I got some Nick Cage in. I do think it was good Nick Cage. I wish there was more Nick Cage. Mm-hmm. And the movie was trying to do a lot of things. I think the first and second act were really strong, especially on a movie that like chops them up on like chapter one. They're telling you. I think it was very strong. I think it ended weak though. I think
it's hard to land the plane, you know.
They built up so much.
Yeah. I think it's worth the watch for anyone who's like, even if you're just slightly interested, I think it's worth the watch. But yeah, I think overall it can be, you either feel one way or the other. I've seen kind of exactly like, if you grab 5 people that I know that have all seen it, everyone has kind of different opinions on it. And that's what I've seen overall, the consensus. Some people like really loved it. Some people just thought it was all right. I think it's great. Like you said, until the end. I didn't necessarily love the end, but I think I liked all the performances and kind of the way that they were going before, this is what it is.
Yeah, it had really cool cinematography, mood, atmosphere, shot styles, the whole thing. And I do think Nicolas Cage's character works for the most part. Not to go into it too much because we got to talk about his weightlifting meet, but I do feel like somewhere along the line, the story failed his character, if that makes sense, with the direction they decided to go. You know, I feel like they could have built it up where it's like, whoa, that's like a memorable guy, villain, whatever it is, but I feel like they undercut him at the end. And now it's like, well, that's just that then, you know?
Yeah.
So I agree. Definitely worth a watch. So, some people might like it, horror style. And we want to support cinema and people trying things in cinema. So they definitely tried some things here.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, back to the ADK Series I. So this is the Adirondack Series I, which is a meet run by Aevitas Weightlifting and Sam Axton, Alyssa Garrison, Owen Putnam. Shout out to the Aevitas Weightlifting crew. And thank you to them for putting on this meet. Anytime we can do a meet where the driving distance is 15, 20 minutes or less is really, really nice.
Yeah.
And this is a part of a series. So this was the Series I. Series 2 is coming up in November. And these two meets are linked to the Adirondack Weightlifting Regional Championships that we host at our gym. And what we're doing is the people that do all 3 meets and have the best overall Sinclair, adding up your Sinclair score for each of the meets, are the overall winners of the series and the road to regionals. And they'll have their ticket to the 2025 state championships in New York State paid for. So this was a part of a process, this meet. something new that we're trying in a collaboration with another barbell club, and I think it's pretty cool. It's you don't see it a lot out there, barbell clubs collabing to do things, and I'm glad that we have nice friends that live up north and also on the other part of town because they have two gyms, and that we're able to do stuff like this. What do you think when you first heard about this this series and what we were doing with it?
Yeah, I think it makes sense, and it's really cool to do something like this. Um, Also, to get just more people involved to really test things out. I think, especially these ADK series, because they're smaller, just one female session, one male session. It's also a good place for newer athletes to test things out, to either do their first meet, second meet, just kind of, I mean, for me as well, like get back into a groove with competing without, a long, drawn out day. It's run really smoothly. Um, yeah, so I think it's great. It's a good facility, good equipment, all of that. So, yeah.
Yeah, not every meet has to be the 6 a.m. till 10 p.m., 11 p.m. kind of a day. And really, we wouldn't want it to be. Not each meet has its own function, and it doesn't have to be like that all the time. So it's really cool the way they did it. And they did their prizes or their awards where it's one women's session and it's the top three women by Sinclair, and then one men's session, top men by Sinclair. So instead of giving out medals for each individual weight class and age group, it's just who are the top three out of the bunch. There was 15 women, 14 men lifting. So it works out really nice just to do it that way and just to keep it simple.
Yeah.
Now, we had from our team, you competed, of course, and Haley and Jennifer also competed, and they went first. So we can kind of go through their performances and talk about a little bit, and then we'll dive into yours. I invited both of them to hop on, but they're both busy. They've got stuff to do. So we will have to get them on another time to talk about it. Let's do Haley first. So Haley was lifting in the women's 81 kilo weight class. She went 4 out of 6, so made 4 of her lifts out of 6 attempts. And we finished the day with a 70, I just had it here, 70 kilo snatch, an 86 kilo clean and jerk, and a 156 total. And she placed 3rd overall by Sinclair. So overall, a really good day. Haley hasn't gone super heavy in a while. Not anything significant since the regional, which was back on April 6th. So there's been different ups and downs, in training and time off and work and vacation. So it was really great to see her get out there and put up some decent numbers. What were your thoughts on the outside looking in?
Yeah, I guess there were question marks even when I was still deciding, well, not deciding. I think the plan was always for me to sign up, but talking about it, Haley had just injured her heel, and wasn't really doing anything with the legs in training. So I think there was even a question mark on if she was going to sign up, depending on how she healed during that time and like what training we were able to get in. So yeah, I mean, great job for, like you said, with in between regionals and now, just the breaks in training that, everyone takes is just like summer and, dealing with different injuries or even the dizziness as well. So yeah.
Yeah. The dizziness still plagues us. You've managed to get beyond it for now, hopefully forever.
Yeah.
It still bugs Haley from time to time, pretty frequently, and so she's still working through that. And she has ideas and things on that have helped. And with her heel injury, this wasn't training related. This was a freak accident at home going down her stairs. She has metal stairs, and on I think the second to last or the last stair, her foot got caught underneath it, and she tripped and fell, and it cut open the back of her heel. So yeah, just freak accident. She'll have to come on and talk about it at some point. But we did what we had to do in training. And luckily, if there is a luckily, that injury happened just before she was going to go on a vacation, a little bit of some time off, anyways. So we just did seated exercises, bench presses, things without the legs, muscle exercises, and it's funny how it always works out, right?
Right.
Like Haley's performance is a great example on like, okay, we may be rusty, we may need more practice, but like some things just don't leave you, right? Like even with limited training and coming back off of an injury like that, Haley's still snatching 70 kilos, still clean and jerking high 80s. That's pretty darn good, you know.
Yeah.
Do you find it's like that for you? Like what are your minimums? Like what is like you're like, you know what, like this weight is not going to leave me. Like I could do this if I had a meet tomorrow. I would walk in and be confident I could put this on the bar.
I guess that is the weights that I put on the card initially.
Okay.
Yeah, those weights are essentially like 85 snatch. I know that no matter what, how the day's going, I can figure that out by the time I have to take that attempt on the platform. And then 95 clean and jerk. I guess it would be 95 or 100, as we've seen. I can, on my worst days, can pull out 100, at least one. So yeah, I guess I would say those are those numbers for me.
Yeah, and those are solid, you know, numbers that, you know, if you had to at least lay a foundation, you're like, oh, I'm not feeling today. Let me at least get this down. It's good to have that in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Quick shout out to Alex, teammate, came out, watched, and helped load the bars for Haley and Jennifer. So that was nice of Alex to come on out. So thank you, Alex. We are acknowledging Alex.
I was not in the state to help load weights, so I'm glad he was there.
Yeah. So always appreciated when teammates come in. So yeah, great job, Haley. Another one in the books, and now we set our eyes to the state championships, and we have a good foundation to build off of. And luckily, the new training cycle starts tomorrow, which is completely 100% just geared towards the state championships.
Yeah.
Not everybody's happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be fun to get back into, I mean, for some of these, you could say newer people, it's really this last stretch it gets tough.
Oh, you mean of our season?
Yeah, the training gets a little tough.
Yeah. I mean, see, the thing is, beginning of the year, we know the Arnold is coming up, so we're training for that, and we're coming off of like a decent chunk and stretch of strength cycle, you know. So we really just focus on dialing in the lifts at that point and maintaining strength. You know, in the turnaround time between the beginning of the year and the Arnold, I don't expect you guys to get crazy stronger on other things, right?
Yeah.
But we can still use the strength in the off season that we built up to be productive on the main lifts. And so far, that's held true, you know, year to year, and the improvements that we've made. So that's good. Then, of course, we roll right into the regional, and it was a better turnaround this year because I moved it back to pushed the meet back to the beginning of April instead of end of March, so a week or two. And you guys are pretty, you know, much already like prime for that coming off of the Arnold, and even those that didn't go to the Arnold, we still peaked for the Arnold and we still tapered and did a mock meet. So everyone's like in a competition mindset.
Right.
And then after that, we kind of take some time off. Like, yeah, you guys might do meets like this one and other regionals and local stuff, but we really don't train for those. We just kind of do them. Those are train through meets, and that's great that we can get that going. And really our program, you know, we'll go through some cycles of like, all right, we're taking it easy, or we're doing complexes, or doing strength, but not like the murder you strength, you know, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we've kind of this last 10 weeks or so been like ramping up to this training cycle. And then now it's going to like you're still going to see things that we've touched upon, you know, like instead of doing a low hang snatch, it's just, you know, now in its full form of a top down snatch. Right. You know, which is one of our favorites, you know. So we did all of our hang stuff, which is great for strength, great for fine tuning the lifts. We maintain strength on squats and stuff, and you guys are still even PRing on that. And now it'll just kind of shift gears again to like really, really just hard on, like lots of reps on the lifts, just endless repetition and like pushing the strength enough because we have time to kind of peak that as well.
Yeah.
So it's nice the way the year is chopped up is pretty nice. We'd have to do different things if we had, let's say, if we were going to nationals in the middle of the summer, we'd have to have a shorter turnaround time for some of this stuff. But yeah, it's going really well. And right now, you guys are I mentioned this at the event. A lot of you guys are cashing out now on the gains that we've been building on throughout the spring and summer or early summer.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's important to get one in the summer, because states is so high stakes to us that there are other things that have to come into account that day of competition. So, if all of that we gain throughout spring and summer, if you leave that to just states, one, you have your training lifts and what your, PRs that you may have gotten in the summer and training and all that, but it feels different if you're not able to put those numbers out in competition before states. Like your confidence in those numbers on a competition day, the travel, though it's not far for states. There's travel, there's such a larger event, and things like staying in the hotel, figuring out different things. So yeah, I think it's important to get something in the summer, like a smaller meet or just something to really tune things out.
Yeah, I think last year we just did that practice meet,
Yeah,
which wasn't sanctioned or anything. But yeah, 100%. Like you got to put it into practice now. It's one thing to do the endless reps, and now too, if we don't do this, then even if we have a lot of gains, like we still don't know where the new ceiling is. And now we're kind of going into the ultimate unknown at states versus it's better if you PR now and we still have significant time to keep pushing the lifts. Now we kind of know, all right, in this zone, we should still be a little bit better and expect to exceed it, versus if your PR is still 110 and we haven't done anything higher at a meet, then it makes it harder to get to 115 versus if we hit 112. Well, now we know the limit's 112. And we also saw that like the boundaries beyond 112 aren't that close. Like it's like it feels like we have a lot of runway room, and it's good to go into the meet having that confidence for all of you guys.
Definitely.
Let's talk about Jennifer here. 4 out of 6 lifts made, 64 kilo snatch, which is a competition PR by kilo. A lifetime PR on the clean and jerk, 83 kilos, and that's a 2 kilo improvement. And then a 147 kilo total, which is a 3 kilo improvement for the competition total. And that ties Jennifer's training total. So, and Jennifer also took first place by Sinclair out of all the women that did the meet. So pretty good day for Jennifer, I would say, for sure.
That's awesome.
That is a fantastic day.
While I was weighing in, Jennifer was doing her snatches, and people were kind of peeking out, the men that were lining up to weigh in. They were peeking out, and I was in a space where I couldn't see it, but I could hear it. And they were watching Jennifer snatches, and she it's very, how she gets under some of these, we all question sometimes in training and at meets. And it's funny to watch other people watch one of your teammates go because you see it all the time. So it kind of like isn't as special to you. But when other people see it, you realize again that like, oh yeah, what this person's doing is so amazing, and people are in such awe of it. Yeah, they were so impressed by just the toughness, like bravery to get under some of those attempts that Jennifer's able to do is great.
Yeah, the Jennifer's 64 kilo snatch, she got under it, and it was one of those where like it was like a tilt-a-whirl, like it was
Yeah.
spinning a little bit, and like had she dropped it, no one would have blamed her. But like, all right, that one just like spun away from you. But Jennifer has experience fighting with these lifts like that. So she just kind of hunkered down and said, and I think she said, no, I'm not letting this one go. Right. I think she told us that later on, and she hung on and got it. And it was a great attempt. Great lift, not even
Yeah,
attempt.
it's insane, but glad that she's able to do it.
Yeah. Well, the video will be on our Instagram page at Albany CrossFit Barbell Club soon. Tomorrow, I'll start posting all the videos up. But it's funny how like you had some comments about your lifting. People are like, he's so fast getting under the bar, right? And it's like, I feel like we have a nice like spread of different styles in the room. Like, you think that you guys would all lift the same, being how long that you've lifted together, and it's coming from one like teaching style, and really all of you guys started with that teaching style. Like, it's not like
Right.
you had other coaches really before that, but you all have very, very distinct, unique styles. Like, you have the fast style that people are like, ooh, Jennifer has one of like those styles where it's a slower pull and then manifest under the bar. And
Right.
you're like, wow, I don't even know. I didn't even think she was going to go under that, but she did. And then on the jerk, just destroys like the jerks. Like, if it's on the shoulders, it's going overhead.
Yeah, which is very nice.
Yeah. It's not everybody, has that luxury. And Jennifer just PR'd her jerk in training off the rack, 87 kilos. And we had more. Like, we could have gone for more, but we're not greedy. And, other people have more like brute strength style, where it's like a mix of both things sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's just cool to see the different techniques manifesting in the room. And it's a very unique mix of individuals. I like it. I think it's cool.
Well, now I'm interested in the battle for the rest of this 3-meet series between, I mean, overall the podium, but within our own team, we have 2 people who are right there.
Yep, that's right. Jennifer technically has the lead in the region and within the club. She took first place by Sinclair, and I'll have to find out what the Sinclairs were, because I would like to put that in the post to keep track of it.
Yeah, they did. They said them out loud, so I'm sure that they have them already written down somewhere.
Yeah,
and they'll need them because of the calculation throughout the whole thing. So
exactly. And now we can't get ahead of ourselves either. Like, remember, like, other people still have Sinclairs. Like, we just got on the podium. That means we have a lead, but we got to still keep working at these other meets. So the ADK Series II is going to be in November, and then the regional, I'm aiming for that first weekend of April again. I like the beginning of April because it seems a little more removed from the snow that could possibly happen anytime in March. So I don't want a snow day happen on us. So yes, great job to Jennifer. Awesome performance. Jennifer's been looking for this. Like, we've been looking to hit these weights in a competition and also PR the clean jerk, because Jennifer has had some snatch PRs, but the clean jerk one, it's a little bit more elusive.
Yeah.
What I will say is some of you guys are getting to the point where you PR more in competition than you do even in training, which is not a bad predicament to be in. I would rather it be this way,
Yeah.
Of course, we want those training PRs though. And now let's talk about your performance. 4 out of 6 lifts. So across the board on the team, 4 out of 6 lifts. We only need 4. We don't need those 6 for 6. There was a moment though, I'm like, one of them might make a run today on that board, that card that I printed with the 6 for 6 club, and I might have to go and update the post on Instagram and print a new one. I thought it could happen.
Yeah.
Actually, for a second, I thought Haley was going to do it. That's what I was thinking it might happen, because we opened up a little bit lighter. But for you, 4 out of 6 lifts made, 89 kilo snatch, 112 clean and jerk, which is a PR, lifetime PR, and a 201 kilo total, which is a competition PR, first time over 200 for the total, and second overall by Sinclair. So not a bad day at all. And those numbers don't even see. The funny thing is, like, the numbers really don't tell the whole story.
Yeah.
It's like on your snatch, we had a 92 kilo second attempt. Not the best of attempts, but then we came back with 95, and that was the best 95 that you've done yet. Like, that was like, ooh, it was like almost there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, 89 has been like my safe number in terms of I'll open there and I know I can get that, and then let's see. So we'll see if that continues or goes up at all. But yeah, I'm not necessarily upset with that snatch number, because again, I did like that 95. The last 3 attempts that I've taken at 95, I've not hit them, but I like them all.
Yeah.
Proud of myself on how I got under, or just the pull overall. So yeah, not bad.
There's value in the mislifts, even if it's just a confidence thing. Like, you're in a dance, you're tangoing right now with 95. Right now 95's taking the lead, but soon Miguel will take the lead. And you'll hit it, and then it'll become just like 89 at some point, and then you'll be tangoing with 100, or 102 or something like that. It's just funny the way that it works out. Like, you can't look at all the misses the same, especially when you personally know the effort that went into them and the adjustments that you made. You were telling me at the meet, you tightened up your grip, right? Or you locked, re-engaged mid-pull on the 95. What happened there?
Yeah, so typically with my snatches, I try to stay loose in my hands. And I suppose when I make contact, that my wrists kind of open up and forward, and that affects kind of more of a swing in the final pull, and getting under the bar, which resulted in being a little bit more forward. And you told me before the last attempt to kind of work on like getting the knuckles in a better position.
Yeah,
so
I think I said stay connected and stay active with your hands and arms.
Yeah, so I did my initial pull the same exact way, and right above the knees, so right when I was about to make contact, I could feel the point where I could either stay with my hands more relaxed and kind of open them up forward, or kind of tighten them again. It's almost like I almost had to re-engage my hands in that part of the pull, and that's what I did, and it felt good.
Yeah, it worked out, and I had to like quickly like run through my brain on like, I have to say something to Miguel now. Like, I have to give you feedback after that 92. Like, I don't want you to die in another lift like that, where it just kind of like floats forward and it's like, not non-committal to go under, but just like it didn't look connected, right?
Right.
And the people looking out, like when people saw your 89, they're like, get a gasp. They're like, look at how beautiful it looks, right? And because it does, you make it look really, really good. And the better, like the good lifts look, the correction or the feedback has to be that much more nuanced.
Yeah.
Like what am I going to tell you for the millionth time to tighten up your back? At this point, you should know that, like, it's just at this point, it's like, why aren't you doing that? Or am I going to tell you to try to keep your arms straighter? This is certainly not the time to do that, like, and good luck now with 95, like, or like stick with the pull. No, I don't think that would do it. So I was like, if I could change one thing, like what right now, like gun to your head, like you have to make a decision. What is one thing that he didn't do that he's got to do right now? And I was just like, he has to keep using his hands. Like my brain went to your hands. Like, it's like, it doesn't look like you're continuing to pull through them and finishing the turnover that way. Not with your arms, not with the elbows, not with the shoulders. It's like the wrist just isn't turning over. And I think it's because like it's almost like a wet noodle. Like you make the contact, you pull, but it's hanging out there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what you said, right? Like your hands flip out. So it's like I I was happy with that, but it's like, oh, it's stressful and exhausting to have to like, you need a decision, you need it right now, and it has to
Yeah.
be hopefully the right one, and like, and so it's like, I'm glad that was the right one. Like, were you expecting me to tell you that when I came over when I sat next to you?
Yeah, it was interesting because I feel like I don't, maybe it's a who I am as a person as well. Like I'm not used to cues in competition anymore
Yeah,
because I'm very much like, hey, I am trying here. Like what I'm giving is what I can give at the moment. But that like it did immediately click also where I was like, oh, interesting. And I could feel it in the next lift while I was doing the lift. Um, so yeah, I think, I mean, even though we didn't end up making that 95, it definitely got back in a better spot. Like to have it stop and then just miss it behind is also a great miss, in my
yeah,
opinion,
oh yeah,
for the
that's nice.
crowd too. To you know, if you're gonna miss, I would rather miss that way.
Let me tell you, people would have lost their mind if you made that one.
Yeah,
Because then I would have had to yell, "It was a PR," and you guys go ring that PR bell. But yeah, yeah. I mean, and to make that adjustment on a PR, which like it just kind of shows you that like 95 is something that we haven't hit yet. 94 kilos is the PR, but 95 is like the imposter PR when you
right.
definitely do hit it. Like there's a final boss still sitting a ways away that like is like the real PR. Because like on any given day, you could have a day, like I don't know when the last time you had one of these where it's like you crush your nemesis, you hit 95, and then all of a sudden the PR, floodgates start opening. You
Right.
hit 97, you hit 99, and then 101, and then you miss at 103 or something. Like it's like all of a sudden, like those are great days when those days happen,
Yeah.
when everything clicks. But yeah, I typically don't. With a lot of you guys the way you are now, um, I don't even like giving you a lot of feedback. Um, Especially during the competition period, like maybe during the warm up stuff. But it's like, how many times have we met in classes over and over and over again talking about this? It's like, it's like
Right.
when you missed your one jerk today in the warm up room, you knew something was off,
Yeah.
and like it wasn't like you're not able to think yourself through it and fix it. And in many times, it's way more valuable if you think through it and fix it
Yeah.
versus someone being like, you got to do this, right? Because like maybe I'm like, all right, well, you got to do this, and you're like, but I thought it was that, and then
Yeah.
it's like it's a thing.
And I would say I you can disagree if you want. I think I listen very well in terms of if you say something, I'll try my best to do that on the next lift. So I feel like there have been times where I do an attempt as a warm up and maybe it's not the best, but I still make the lift. And maybe you'll tell me a cue and I feel like it throws me off completely because I'm like, I got under it. It wasn't great, but and then yeah, we might have differing where maybe I felt something physically, but you say something else.
Yeah.
But I'll just default to what you say. Um, so I mean, it depends, but like yeah, like we said, this time it was like the perfect cue for me.
Yeah, I would agree that like you're very good at executing the cues because you know how. Like, okay, I need to tighten on my back here. I need to do that. And like today, I try to like maybe it's not standoffish is the right word. Just kind of like be back a little bit more and like,
Yeah,
well, he's not going to do that on the next one. Like he wouldn't do it twice.
yeah,
And like with some of you guys, like my rationale now is like to try like let's see what happens in 3 lifts, 2 lifts, like but
right,
like if you're like continuing to like fight with it, then I need to say something. I need to step in and say something. But like if you're not figuring it out at that point. But that is an interesting thing too on like what's being seen on the outside versus what's being felt on the inside,
yeah,
right? Like I feel like Haley and I have a much a back and forth on this a lot more than others. Where I'll say what I see on the outside, and her feeling on the inside is often different than that, you know. So it's like it's just different between different people.
Yeah.
I would say definitely in competition, I think it's more valuable to go with probably the inside more, you know.
Yeah.
I know I would if I was an athlete, like if you were coaching me and you're like, James, your left foot, you got to do this. But I'm like, yeah, I didn't brace my core at all, you know,
Yeah.
like, so like you, because as an athlete, you know, when you're being lazy too, or
Yeah.
when you're trying to cut corners or just experimenting, you know. It's definitely interesting to think about.
Yeah. And I guess to give background now, I think we should do that. I felt terrible today.
Yeah.
I've never had a meet day where I felt this bad. Like, and it's far and away from anything that I felt. Like we've had the meets where I pass out, I can't complete a jerk, whatever. Physically going into it, I feel much better than I did this morning. I woke up this morning and I felt like I was hit by a truck. Like I was shocked by how I felt.
Well, and
Because I
now that
did,
you went to
I was
what's
at
that?
Great Escape
Yes,
yesterday, a very long day from opening till about 8 p.m.
in the heat.
in the heat. I did think that I got enough water in, but apparently not.
Were you using Element?
In the morning, I did,
Okay, well that's good.
not throughout the day, but there were enough water fountains in the park that I felt like I was refilling, and even with my friends, I was making sure that everyone else was refilling and getting their water in, and yeah, I guess just not enough. It honestly felt like a very severe hangover this morning
Hmm.
from like, oh, I didn't even drink or anything the day before, but just being out in the sun around the park, even the rides. Like I'm not a rides type of guy, but water slides here and there, just like little getting banged up a little bit throughout the day, just really sapped away the energy.
You ever think about what could be in that water?
It's none of my business at this point.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Well,
I
and
guess that
also
would,
you had a giant funnel cake, and if I wonder if like you don't you I mean, unless I don't know, but like I don't think that you eat that much sugar in one sitting ever, or probably like for a week. That was probably like a month's worth of sugar for you.
yeah, people were actually surprised that I ate it yesterday because I don't like really sweets. That's not like my go-to thing. So yeah, that was definitely also out of character. Um, but yeah, so going into snatches, I felt very bad. Um, but as we did our warm-ups, we had like plan A, plan B, and I was still making them. So we went with plan A. I will say that my 92 kilo attempt, I even asked Haley because she was judging, if she could see me shaking. Like my body really, and I think that's also why it felt so disconnected. It was because my body just really wasn't comfortable at all.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was like shaking. I had to have the ice packs that you had, thankfully, um, and like put that on my face, put it on my neck, because
It was
just
hot. It
overall,
was
yeah,
really like Haley and Jennifer got lucky that their session went in the morning where it was a little cooler. But by the time we got to your session, we were all dying back there.
yeah. So the just regular heat plus what I feel is additional because of how my day was spent the day before. Um, yeah, I just felt really off. I was able to kind of get it back in gear, and clean and jerks, that kind of matters a little bit less, but yeah.
When I noticed, I didn't see the shaking, but I did notice you were making your grunting sounds, and that's typically a good sign when like you're like, you got your headphones in and you take your shirt off and you start chalking up, and you'll make like this like like that type of sound. You know, it's like this growl, and I'm like, all right, that at least means we're going under this clean. You know, that's what that means to me.
That's genuinely what it means. It means like it doesn't matter. Like like I don't care what you feel right now. You have to get it together.
Yeah.
So then clean and jerks went well today.
Yeah, we had 95 as the declared opener, and then we jumped it up to 105.
Yeah. So I haven't successfully made a clean and jerk in competition above 100 kilos since states last year, largely due to my dizziness that I was getting starting at before, but starting first competition, the Arnold, and then the regional as well. So even though I was able to get it in training and even PRing my clean and jerk, I think it was last week in training or
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I think just mentally it was good to open up at 105 in competition just to get that out the way. I did also think that I was going to have some dizziness today just because of the heat, but I could tell that it was more just my body felt really hot than the dizziness that I was feeling before. So I knew that if that was the only thing, just the uncomfortable feeling, that I could get past that.
Yeah. I was worried that you might possibly pass out on the 109. You got buried a little bit on that clean, and we had to grind it out, which you're no stranger to. I mean, your 1 rep max front squat was done with a pause, you know, like inadvertently. So you can get, and that's 138 or 137. So you can front squat a lot more than that 109 clean. It's just, but after that, I was like, ooh, all right. Like I held my breath a little bit. I was like, let's see what's going to happen here.
It was good because as soon as I stood that one up, even though I got pinned, the pin itself, I took my time there at the bottom because I didn't want to rush it and then potentially have dizziness. So by the time I stood up, I knew that I was fine. But I gave myself an extra second just in case it was like going to be latent, a little bit of latent dizziness that would come in as I'm jerking. So it didn't. So yeah, that was good. And then last attempt was better than the previous one.
Yeah, much stronger clean. And I would say just the jerk just kept getting better and better, which is just funny how far the jerk has come. It was once your nemesis, and now here it is improving steadily from one lift to the next across 7 kilos.
Oh, I think you paused there for a bit.
Wait. Are you still here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, everything got quiet for a second. I don't even know what that was.
Yeah.
What was the last thing I
said? Just jerk got better from one to the next, I think.
Yeah, across 7 kilos, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it felt good. Yeah, you were saying that the jerk was my nemesis before. It still is. I'm still figuring out the jerk by itself, I guess you could say. Like a rack jerk, I guess we could say, is my nemesis now. But I think since switching to the push jerk, as long as my clean is decent, the push jerk is fairly comfortable. As long as I'm not dizzy after the clean and I'm able to really take a legitimate attempt at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it felt really comfortable today.
There's a strong argument on, do we ever need to split again? You know?
I do think that my split is better now. Just even in now coaching CrossFit classes and just miming things for people, just the occasional showing of a jerk. I can feel the position now is a lot stronger. I don't know why. Maybe it is the time away from it and not feeling like, all right, let's just do a split jerk in a way that we know we can get it overhead. So who knows?
Well, and you're demoing it, so you have to demo it right,
Right.
And the push jerk is, for people who's not, it's their full jerk. It's a great accessory on working on the receiving of the bar and the hip extension.
Yeah.
So maybe your timing and everything is better now, lifting such heavy weights and spending time with the push jerk.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely feel a lot more connected to the bar in the push jerk, which is part of the reason why I do it the way that I do it. So I do think it could transfer over. I have no plans on testing it out in competition or even training really for a while.
Well, here's what we do. We go full circle, Miguel. Last year at the state championships, you started warming up with the split, and then you switched to push midway through the warm-ups, and then went out and PR'd your clean jerk doing 110 for your final attempt at the meet. And then you stuck with it all throughout that. So now maybe this year you do a couple warm-ups to the push jerk, bam, switch to split jerk, 125. There we go.
Well, I hope we don't have to do that. But yeah, it's always a possibility. I like to keep all the knives sharp, so I'm ready to switch at any moment. But yeah, no, today it felt really good. We did miss a jerk at 80 kilos during the warm-ups. But after that, things got progressively better.
See, you can't panic on the warm-ups. It's just they're two different worlds. What's going on back over there and what's going on the platform. You just have to keep rolling on and just do what you need to do out there. It always feels better and different out there. Like, I know I say that a lot and I've experienced that. Have you experienced that? It's like, it's different out there. Like,
Oh yeah.
How would you describe it?
I'm really I could even say that depending, maybe starting off clean and jerks in the back room, like even the cleans feel like a little bit heavy to stand up. Even the one where I got pinned, that was just like a weird space that it hit in timing. The stand felt like nothing. The 112, I really didn't even feel the clean. Again, felt like nothing. And I don't know. I even want to see now a side by side of the 105 and 112 and see which one was done faster.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't tell you physically really what the difference was.
It looked like you pulled on 109 like it was 112, and then you put that same effort into the 112 and it matches.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I know that going out onto a platform that, okay, my cleans, I just can't be silly. I can't do something crazy with them. I have to actually still be set up, but I don't really need to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. That was that's why whenever you were going out, I just focused on the clean. I was like, let's just cross that bridge first. Let's get a strong clean, be aggressive with it, and then we'll see what happens on the jerk. And the jerks were looking good. So it was really just like can we get it up on the shoulders, or is it going to be one where maybe kind of drifts down a little bit or falls through the arms? But I'm glad it didn't happen. I'm glad we were able to get some solid attempts at it, because if you missed 109, then I think realistically, if you missed 109, we were probably still going to go up to at least 112. What do you think?
I probably would have gone 111 just to secure or really go for the 200 kilo total.
Uh-huh.
But if you said 112, I would have been yeah.
Well, yeah, that's I feel like we were on the same wavelength of the attempts picked. After you hit 89, I just asked you 92 because that's what was in my head, because my thought with 92 is we're gonna hit 92, but of course the main goal is 95.
Right.
And we hadn't even talked about that, but it's like, all right, these jumps make sense.
Yeah.
And then for the clean jerk, you hit 105. And then I gave you two options. I said 109 or 110. So 110 is because 105 looked really, really good, and I think a 5 kilo jump was fine. 109, I said that one because just how I knew how you were feeling overall.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, even sitting there because of the time that I had between 105 and 109, I was going back and forth in my head on if I should go heavier. Um, but then the problem with 110 is that 110 is my PR. So I
Yep.
wouldn't want to match that. So even in training, the last time we when I PR'd my clean and jerk, it was because I went 105 and then I went straight to 111 because I don't want to do the 5 kilo jump there because I didn't want to tie what it already was. So then in my head, I was like, yeah, 109 is the better decision so that we can get a better third attempt. Um, yeah, because I would have gotten greedy with the if we decided to go up. I would have skipped 110, 100%.
Yeah. So it pays to not be greedy all the time.
Yeah.
Well, it was a fantastic day. Great meet. It came and it went super fast. Would you say that the programming that we've been on this summer and the end of spring, um, do you feel like these improvements that you've made that the programming helped with the exercise selection, all the little drills and special exercises that we kind of sprinkled in, even some the gymnastics that we were working on? Do you think that stuff helped you get to where we are right now?
Yeah, definitely. I think for everyone, again, everyone kind of has to do their own testing. Um, but certainly, I mean, and I haven't done day 4 this past cycle. Um, so no like squats or a lot of like the extra jumping. But I think that's more things that I kind of enjoy or like, I wouldn't say that it wouldn't change much for me. Um, but definitely what we do in the regular days 1 through 3 definitely helped. Push press, of course, as someone who push jerks and doesn't move their feet intentionally. Um, Push press definitely help. Um, and then even the like pull ups or handstand work that we do opposite of the front squats. Um, those really just my positioning and just feeling better overhead and understanding really what the body needs in certain positions, I think has helped my jerk for sure.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of you guys have some good progress, especially on the jerk, from a lot of that gymnastic stuff, especially the handstands. Jennifer's jerk is through the roof now. So
Yeah.
and Schaff just put up 144 off the rack, and he just finally hit 137 at the beginning of June. So yeah, you guys are cashing out at different spots from different points in the program. Schaff's going to be looking to cash out again here at Frank's meet, the Central New York Regional Open, on August 3rd, which is a Saturday in Johnson City, New York, at Sona. So that'll be great. Are you going to that?
Yep. Yeah. So Frank already has my shirt size. So I'm not sure what I'll be doing that the women's session, whether it's loading or reffing. And then men's session, uh, I'll be helping Schaff out.
Perfect. Perfect. Get ready to run him through those warm ups. Get it
Yeah,
going.
I mean, this time I'm not gonna lie, last year I kind of left him to his own devices because there was also Mike. And since Mike goes first, I was like, out there filming or by the platform with him while Schaff was like taking attempts that I wasn't really looking at directly.
Yeah.
So this time I can look more directly at what he's doing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
this will be nice. He's the only lifter from the team going, so you'll be able to just like really just focus on him, and what he's got to do and keep him in line doing that. I'll be on the microphone the whole time helping out Frank. Yeah. So this will be a little preview of heading out to the Binghamton area before state championships.
yep,
And speaking of state championships, I'm thinking about dusting off the old shoes and singlet here. It's going to come down on can I clean and hold the bar in the front rack. I think the snatch is fine. Like the other day, I took those wrist wraps that I let Tanzira borrow. I took both of
yeah,
those and I tightened them as tight as I could get them, like way too tight. just to hold everything together. And I think if I did that and I took my illegal pills, not pink pills, just arthritis pain pills, and if I knee wrapped and had that super tight, like I pretty much I just got to be held together by things, you know, and I wear a belt, I think that I can definitely snatch. We're not squat snatching. We're definitely not split snatching. We could power snatch. But the clean, that's a whole nother animal.
Yeah.
Like you don't realize it until you have a limitation there on how just demanding that is, holding the bar on your shoulders, which that was always a hard position for me. Just like you feel it in your core strength and you feel it in your legs more so than the other two. But yeah, that's my main obstacle, since at the state championships right now, all masters men would go at the beginning of the day in one giant session. And there aren't many masters men who are 35 to 39 in the 73 to 81 kilo range. So that's prime for the pickings, you know. And I've had FOMO for a while now, because like, how many times can you run this meet, Miguel, without being able to do it? And like back in the day, I totally would have done this meet like a million times, anytime, totally would have done it, you know. And my last meet was Christmas in Kilos 2020.
Yep.
So it's been a while. So that's the goal. So I'm putting all my attention now on this wrist and see what we can do. I think maybe if I just do some dumbbell holds, just maybe if I just try to get it stronger, that might help.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be cool.
Yeah, that'll be fun. At least you know, if I'm going to be there all weekend, that'd be nice. Just do that and then throw off the singlet, and then the suit goes back on. Then we're back to running the meet. Someone else can deal with everything while I'm doing that, you know. Which then again, I might be going earlier in the session. I was talking to Joe Rod about this. What do you think about this? So not really a hang up. Like my biggest hang up is just the wrist. Like I have to make sure I don't destroy it, you know, in the process of this.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to really be able to train the lifts. Like this might just be like a show up and see what happens that day kind of a deal. Like, all right, we can still snatch 40. All right, we can still snatch 45. Like I don't have a whole lot of big hopes there, because they'd have to be power anyways. And maybe even not even moving the feet. But then like the thing I was talking about with Joe is like, you know, that internal thing on like, I remember what I used to be able to do. And now it's like, this is what I have to lift. Like this is like, do I want to do it enough more? You know, and I know no one else cares, but I care. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think I have that within myself currently, going up a weight class, and like now I want to do so much more weight than I was close to as a 61, because in my head I'm like, everyone's going to remember that I was a 61, and like, but I mean, no, I don't think it's that at all. But I mean, yeah, if you're able to do it without destroying your wrist, then yeah, I think that would be cool. Have our team come back with multiple state championship medals.
Yeah, because I mean, like, hey, like if I'm the only one, then all of these lifts are the amount that needs to be done to get that medal. And not for nothing, like every time I hold the medals for the state championships, I'm like, I want one. Like, I don't know how you wouldn't want one of these. You know, like everybody should definitely be signed up. Like, you want one of these. Like, I want one. You know, and I have to. I'm the one that hands them out every single time. So it's like I would like one. You know. So yeah, I'm trying to put that aside and like realizing like if circumstances were different, maybe we could put weights on the bar that old James and new James would both be happy with.
Right.
But we have to realize that some of these weights are unreasonable with where James is at now. That doesn't mean forever. You know, that doesn't mean forever. But where we are right now, because also I have to think too, like I have after that a coaching workshop I'm going to in California, and then the level 4. So like I have to make sure I don't wreck myself before the level 4,
right?
Because like I would like to have full use of my limbs and joints and everything for that, and actually I'm going to need it, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have to be smart there too. So, but also, as someone who be there wrangling me, you have to realize that if we're feeling good, then old James might come out and be like, "Yeah, let's put that on," because old James was willing to dive under a clean jerk that might be the last clean jerk.
Right.
New James shouldn't do that. There's a mentality. So I was telling Joe, I'm like that's the problem of when you feel good is you feel good right now, but how are you going to feel tomorrow morning or later in the day? And you can't let this be an excuse to like cowabunga. Let's one more ride. Let's do it again. So yeah, I'm very much considering it. I should know soon. But yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. We haven't been able to do that in a while. Where I lifted the same meet you guys are lifting at.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I swore off it at the Christmas and Kilos, I was like, I can't do that. I can't coach. I can't do it again because I was falling asleep that meet. I remember. I was like, I can either do my snatches or close my eyes.
The different timing will give us some space there.
Yes, that helps tremendously. Being that I'm the only masters besides Frank, and Frank's not doing it, that it's only me I got to worry about. So that's nice. Yeah. And also that the whole rest of the meet isn't on fire too. But that's okay. That's because I'm in the fire right now. Well, Miguel, any closing thoughts on the ADK Series I?
I just remembered I didn't show my medal.
Oh, yep.
But here it is.
Yeah.
And I am in the lead in the region. So, am I surprised that I'm here? No. But we got to hold on to it. So you'll see me at Series 2 and regionals.
Yep, Series 2 and 3. For some reason, when you said that, I had that that Homelander speech pop. It's like I'm just better. I'm just the best. That whole thing. But then also, if someone else comes along and starts to surpass you, then it's that Homelander scene when he's sitting in the movie theater, just like staring at the screen, trying not to kill everybody.
I welcome it. I need new goals.
Yes. Yep. New goal. It's not really a goal, but there is something to be to being chased or chasing. We still want that. We have a little bit of that, but not. We need another 67 floating around out there, in the region doing stuff.
Yeah.
And we can't forget. Bam.
Yep.
Mr. Tudor, Coach Bompa was at the meet, making sure everything was official, and he is satisfied with the results. So all went well. Thank you again to Aevitas Weightlifting for hosting the event. We had a great time. Shout out again to Haley and Jennifer on outstanding performances, and congrats again, Miguel, on your fantastic day of lifting.
Thank you. Thank you.
Where can people follow you, Miguel?
On Instagram at Couldn't Be Miguel.
Couldn't Be Miguel. Follow me, James A. McDermott. Follow the Barbell Club, Albany CrossFit Barbell Club, and Albany CrossFit for the gym. And the Barbell Strikes Back, which not a whole lot happens over there, but it still exists. And that's it. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And Miguel, we did it again. Until next time.
Yeah.
End stream.